nation under God.
Good to see you.
Yahoo! She made it.
Rita's all excited to get you through the door. I'll watch this. And, was there anybody still downstairs?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll close this.
Oh, yes. Oh, in the back room.
Yeah, in the back room, okay.
Guy and a girl.
All right, well, I'll probably watch the gate and see when they leave and all that. All right, good to see you guys. Anybody need a pocket constitution? We got some over there. I got some over here.
I got.
Everybody good? All right, let me get one for me. I go through these things fast. I just gave like 50 to the college Republicans, and I give them about 50 about every 2 weeks. So I go through about 100 a month just with the college Republicans at UCR. Because they have them
Thanks
out
for being here.
and whatever, and it's important. I want to get them into the school system. I also have about 100 to 200 a month. I know some teachers that they get them into public schools, stuff like that. I just sent off a bunch of them to some particular congressmen with a little letter attached. I'll write about it later in the email. I can't remember the exact wording in the letter, but it basically said, here, I'd like to offer you this pocket constitution because based on the way you've been voting and the things you've been saying, you apparently have not read the thing. So, we'll see what kind of response I get. Unfortunately, I couldn't get them all. I don't have enough money. You can only afford to send so many. But
How much do you pay for them? How much are they?
I get 100 of these for $40. So I spend, and I usually buy them 200 at a time, and I buy 200 about every 2 weeks.
Thank you, Adrian, for being here.
So I go through about $160 worth a month on average. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Postage and things like that to send them, or there's like, and I have actually word's gotten out that I got these, so I'll have like school teachers that I've never heard of say, hey, I hear you've got pocket constitutions. I'd like to have one for each of the kids in my classroom. So how many kids do you have in your class? 30. Okay, here's 40. Give the extra 10 a good home. That kind of stuff. So anyway, I do go through a lot of these. So, the other thing is, when I do the Constitution stuff, I tend to be nonpartisan. I really don't talk about party, but when it comes to a few things I do. For example, when it comes to these, I always give them to Republicans for free. I charge Democrats $1. The reason why is if I didn't put some type of value attached to it, they might use it for toilet paper or something. But if they spent $1 on it, they might treat it with some type of respect. Anyway, all right. Article 1. It's funny because the folks that take care of the best care of these are the ones that come from someplace else.
Yeah. Oh.
Other countries, and they came here and they appreciate it. It's usually, especially the ones that came from either they're former Muslims or they came from communist countries. Those people, man, I mean,
Yeah.
you give it to them and they treat it like it's a bar of gold, man. It's a precious, special thing, and lots of questions, whatever. I'm friends. I've been developing a relationship with a woman who works with the Epoch Times, which is originally Chinese newspaper, anti-communist. She's been here from China for about 20 years, and I'm just like fascinating to her. So I'm going to start writing for the Epoch Times probably pretty soon. Matter of fact, I'm meeting with her next Saturday before my event in LA where I'm on a panel. Times, if you've not heard of it, it's EPOCH. It was 100,000 million whatever subscribers, and then Donald Trump went on to say to the crowd one day at some speech that he reads the Epoch Times every morning. Suddenly their subscriptions just blossomed. Now they've got like 5 counties in California they're in, and all sorts of stuff, originally in New York. And if you look them up and ask what kind of newspaper it is, it says anti-communist. So they said, well, we believe we're about center. And I said, no. But anyway, so I actually I do have a subscription. I get Epoch Times every check it out. Enough of my advertisements is get rolling. Guys, you guys find that fascinating. I do deal with a lot of people who better from someplace else, and from communist countries. I hear all the time. It's frightening that I came here from a communist country, and I hear certain politicians sounding like the people speaking in that communist country, and the Hillary Clinton, so on and so forth, communist. It's a scary. Article 1, and now we're on our, and here's what it says. Immigration or importations, as any of the states now admit, prohibited by prior to the year 1008, tax or duty may be imposed on such importation, not exceeding $10 for each person. Now, there's two things here. If something is applicable in the pocket article, it's obsolete, it's in brackets. Slavery is mentioned in here, but this is not in brackets because a part of it still applies. So now let's break it down. The migration. What is migration?
Coming across borders.
People moving from one place to another. And an immigrant is someone who migrates and then and they intend to permanently reside in their new home. That's technically what immigrant means. So immigration, while the word immigration is not in the Constitution, and you'll hear people say all the time, well, immigration is not in the Constitution. It is. The word migration right here. Okay, that's what they're referring to as immigration. And then the other part after that says, or importation of such persons. Importation, import, when you import something, it's a good, it's a product, it's a possession. But these are people who are, what they're referring to is slavery. Okay, so the migration or importation of such persons as now existing shall be proper movement. In other words, what states are doing, these people own rules and regulations of each state. This shall not be prohibited by Congress prior to the year 1808. In other words, states get to keep on doing what they're doing, but as of 1808, Congress has the authority to pass a law to on persons either migrating in or being imported in. Then it says, but a tax or duty may be imposed on each importation, so it doesn't apply to the immigrants, only to the slaves, not exceeding $10 per for a person. Why? Let's start backwards. Why would tax? Doesn't be tax left, right? Their way that the usings by Congress in other words, it has the authority according to this, have the authority according to this to outlaw the Atlantic slave trade, the importation of slaves. In other words, no more outside slaves can be brought in. Now they didn't outlaw slavery, but the only way new slaves could be now obtained would be through birth. Because the importation would be outlawed if Congress decides to do this in 1808. In March of 1807, they had written the bill, and it had already been signed, and it was established effective January 1st. They did outlaw the Atlantic slave trade based on this clause. And yes, taxes were imposed on slaves coming in. And it did reduce some but at the same time, so there was a that stop said original press document was that is which would act as the evidence right here that shows this is not a pro-slavery document. This is an anti-slavery document. Now let's go back to the migration. So importation of such persons as of January 1st, 1808, Congress could make laws and say with migration. So in other words, immigration used to be solely a state power. As of 1808, Congress was given the authority regarding immigration, the ability to prohibit such persons. Now, while I say that immigration is for the most part a federal authority, gives them the authority right here to make law prohibiting persons, the only authority given to Congress is prohibiting persons, writing law to prohibit persons from immigrating in, and then anything that would go along with it, such as the enforcement of getting those people they come in, border patrol, that would all tie into this. You have the authority, you have the authority to execute. Once the slave is inside of the state.
If you have any questions.
Or, once the immigrant the illegal aliens inside the state,
Yeah.
should not the state be able to remove that person?
Yeah.
Or at least coordinate efforts with the federal agencies that do so. Absolutely. In some ways, immigration issue, meaning that both the federal government and the states have over that issue. The example I like to use is school. The principals give detentions, but the patients that are different. Teachers can do it from within the school's going to do a classroom. If there is a child that's on campus, they're not from the campus, the principal to remove that child from that child is assigned a class. The principal's not going to just suddenly barge into the classroom and go in there and just yank the child. It's going to contact the teacher. I hear that you have a child that's not supposed to be on school grounds. Would you like us to send someone in, or would you like to bring it up to you? And that's why you're helping remove an illegal alien in the state, but it's part of the federal issue. The government trouble coming in. Then this, based on the supremacy, cannot make laws interfering with that. Sanctuary state laws, they are dead opposite. They're saying your prohibition of we don't accept, therefore that law, we're going to write law contrary to it. The clause in Article 6 says the federal government law regarding something that's contrary. Sanctuary. So sanctuary state is literally unconstitutional because it is contrary to which is prohibit choose to have a vetting process any other here. Question.
Chris from Sanctuary.
Number two, they did. Here's has made immigration. Obama could not get him, so he used executive orders to create his own set of immigration laws, like DACA. It was unconstitutional. You can't make law with executive order. But the problem is Congress is spineless. They can act as the executive against the courts. What's interesting is then later on in his presidency, an executive order to make DACA unlawful, and since it was done by executive order, and then it could be undone by executive order. Court then came in and said, we can't do that.
Yeah.
My first response is, number one, constitutional in the first place. It was illegal in the first place, admitted it.
Yes.
Trump then used an executive order, the same kind of mechanism to get rid of it. So they, of course, tell him he can't. Number one, he can't use that same kind of mechanism to get rid of it. Number two, there's nothing in the Constitution that says that the courts can strike down an executive order. So it's none of the court's business anyway. If there's a problem, the courts give an opinion, and then the legislature can work with the president on writing legislation that puts doctrine in place or whatever, or gets rid of it. But we got a spineless. Number one, we got a spineless legislature. Number two, they don't understand this anyway. As I was saying at the very beginning of the class, I have actually sent pocket constitutions out to a particular list of Congress. Kamala Harris and Cory Booker are both on that list.
Chuck,
Can you read?
Can they read? They probably can, but I'm not sure Chuck Schumer can. Anyway, so I gotta be nice here. I want to stick to the Constitution, but yeah, other times. Well, they can read. The problem is that they have this weird disability where they only see the Constitution saying what they think it's supposed to say. Not an action. Yeah, so it'd be worse than attention deficit. It's a reality drug. Yes, sir.
There's a question. Was the prohibition a good thing?
Was the prohibition of, in other words, I'm asking, letting Congress prohibit writing law prohibiting coming in? Because this is all prohibition. This is a different.
It's here.
Yeah. Is the question of Congress prohibit alcohol? The word pro about alcohol. Things that it's not a it's a pro. It's a something pivot something. The rest of this article is pro and sexual federal government. All right. But anyway, questions about migrants? Yes, sir.
I heard today that President Trump's signing an order that if you have a green card
oh yeah,
and you get green card is out.
or if you have voted,
Yeah,
then you
you're-
can't become a citizen easily. And you can
I
get
have not heard
deported.
about. Have to vet to make sure it's.
Did somebody this week?
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't.
yeah,
I don't think about the clues. Law supporting him, and he abides by it. I knew that when he had his travel restriction and executive order, because he made sure that the laws that he was executing were listed in that executive order. Now that was suggested by President Kennedy in an executive order. He wrote an executive order that all future presidents need to law they're executing, because what had been happening is, especially under Franklin Delano Roosevelt. There've been a whole lot of executive orders, nothing to do with the law through executive orders. But so actually, I tell you, sometimes I wonder if Kennedy would be able to remain in his own right now. Probably not. He was way too conservative for the Democrats today. Actually, I think the Democrats, once again, are partisan, all about people. This about always been what they. It's just they hit that side. Trump has kind of brought the arena. Okay, national prohibitions of the federal government. Another government is prohibit. That's what I mean. Is the things that the federal government is doing. All right, page 8, top of the page, Article 1, Section 9. Still, the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended. So they are prohibited from suspending the writ of habeas corpus. What it is,
The hideous
notice the privilege. It's not right. And I'll explain to that. So what is a writ of habeas corpus? What does that mean? Unlawful detention. Habeas corpus in Latin means present the body. In other words, present the body for examination, legal, court, whatever. In other words, you can't throw you in a dungeon, throw away the key, and say, "Oh, we're holding them because we want to." That you can't just hold them for the sake of holding them. There has to be a reason, and you have to present the body. They have to be given due process. There's a caveat here, which is why they're calling it a privilege and not a right. Caveat: unless rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. So let's say, for example,